Hello there, I'm Chris Heilman, and today I want to show you some cheat codes for the web. You might not know this, but every browser that we have these days comes with developer tools. I'm a web developer and I love these things. So I right-click any product that I do, I say inspect, and I get all kind of information about the product that I'm doing here. Now, for normal users, this is confusing, and I get a lot of messages every day where people say they've been hacked or there's lots of errors showing up and they did something wrong. The first thing to remember about these developer tools is that they inspect what is on your machine. You don't change anything on the internet, which means all the tricks that I'm showing you today are not illegal. All the things that we're doing here, we're not changing the website on the server, we're just changing what's on our machine right now. So all these changes that we have here to get rid of annoying things off the web are not traceable by the products that actually we're doing that to. So with that, let's start with it. Let's just think about that. These developer tools are already in the browser, so you might as well do some good with that. I love the internet. I love that we have images, videos. I love that you can translate texts. I love that you can change the size of things to your needs. But the annoying thing is that a lot of people on the web don't like that. They don't want to give users like you the opportunity to do things to their websites. So they're trying to do super annoying things to put barriers in your way before you can actually navigate or before you can actually use the website as you want to. With normal websites, it's not as much, but let's say fringe content of the web has a lot of super annoying pop-ups and redirects, and often you find people installing extensions for that in their browser. Which is something, of course, you can do, but the problem is that extensions are super powerful. They could do all kinds of things in the background that you don't know about, and every single extension that you install in your browser makes it slower and makes it use more memory. So a lot of times when you think about installing an extension just to download some images, for example, you don't need to do that. And this is what these cheat codes are about. You can read them up here on this website as well. You can give me feedback and you can pull some issues there in case you want to know more what other cheats you could do to the web. But let's now get into it and just show you what I mean by using developer tools as cheat codes for the web. The first thing you normally encounter in websites, which really drives me nuts, are annoying overlays. With developer tools, you can work around that. Just right-click the document and say inspect. Then you actually get into this mode here where you can navigate the source code, but that's confusing because you might not understand what it means. You can use that inspect tool here, and that one allows you to actually inspect the whole document. You can see I move around these different things and I get color overlays, and when I find something that's the whole document, just click on that one and press the delete button and the overlay is gone. So that's really, really useful, and you can use that as well to take great screenshots of websites. So that's the next trick we're going to go to right now. Now, there's tools in the browser and in the operating system that allow you to take screenshots. One great thing about Edge is that it comes with the Command-Shift-S tool where I can say I capture an area, it's called web capture, and I can only get the content that I want here right now, and I can copy it. The problem is that I'm really bad with my mouse, so sometimes I get in too much padding or not enough padding. I don't get directly that element that I want to have here. So the trick to do that is to use the inspect button again here and go to the element that you want to take a picture of. Then you highlight that one or click on it. You go to that ... menu here and you say capture node screenshot. And this one now gives me just an image of that element on the page right now. So I don't need to actually cut it myself. I only get that element directly sorted here. Another thing that you can do is do the same thing that you did with the overlay, just with any element in the page. So if I go here, for example, and remove this paragraph here by pressing delete, I get rid of it. But I'm also already in this elements thing here as well. So I can just use the keyboard right now to highlight other elements I want to remove. So I can use this to actually remove everything but the image that I want to take a picture of as well. And that's the other way to work around that problem. So in this case, I've got the other item here. I want to get rid of that one. I want to get rid of that one. And I want to get rid of that one. And I only get the image that I want. So you can navigate with your arrow keys in that HTML view as well to highlight different elements of the page and delete them as needed. Now, an interesting thing is that developers know that, or site maintainers know that developer tools exist. So often you find websites that actually do this. If you right click them and you want to go to the inspect, you actually get redirected to another page. So that's one problem that you can avoid just by not using the right click. So you can always just open the developer tools with Command Option I or Control Alt I or F12. And then you can go to developer tools and use that inspect button. So if you find something that redirects on right click, you can use the inspect button on these pages as well. So you don't need to worry about that automatic redirect. As people hate users doing things to their websites, some people actually get the context menu completely off. So sometimes you might have seen that you right click on a page and it says, this is copyrighted material, go away now, don't do that. So the way around that right now is something called event listeners. As a developer, I can set up event listeners in my document. This means I ask the computer to say, hey, if the user clicks on something, do this. If the user hits a key, do that. And in this case, if the user uses the context menu, redirect to another page or tell them that they cannot do that. Now, in the elements view here that I showed you earlier, we have a great thing called event listeners. I make that a bit smaller here so you can see it on the bottom instead. So you can see here there's an event listener entry. So that one lists all the things that developers are listening for right now, that developers want to react to. And in this case, there's a context menu entry. So if you find a website that does a redirect or gets rid of the context menu, go to the elements tool here, this one, go to event listeners and look for context menu and then remove it. And out of a sudden, you got your context menu again, and there's no annoying alert saying like it's copyrighted, and you can do all the things that you need to do. You also get redirects on websites from time to time. So in this case, anywhere where I click, I actually redirect to another website. That's the most annoying one, where you got these pop-ups. And you can do the same thing here. If you actually look at it and you see the event listeners again, there's a click handler this time. So you remove that click handler and you can start clicking on the document again, and nobody's the wiser, and you don't get all these pop-ups that are super annoying. One thing that you always see as well is that people give you a video player that is like full of ads and all kind of things that you don't want to have. So in this case, I got a video here and I can play the video by clicking it, but I cannot scrub through the video. I'm gonna go to a different part of the video. I cannot change the volume. I cannot do all the things that I want with it. And above all, I cannot save the video. And that's on purpose. They did that so they can show you that ad and the button here above it. What you can do to work around that issue is use another tool called the network tool. So the network tool here shows you all the things that are loading when a page is being loaded. So it actually shows you the bits that are coming in, and it shows you things that are loading in the background. So it's sometimes interesting to look at that to see where your data goes. But in this case, all I want to do is now filter for media. And if I filter for media, I only get videos. So in this case, I got the sleepingdog.mp4, they're most of the time MP4 files, and I can right click that one and open it in a new tab. And out of a sudden, I get the same video in a normal native player that I can do all the things with that I want to, like jump to a different part of the video, change the volume, and even save the video. So oftentimes when you get a super annoying video player inside a page, use the network tool to actually get the video directly, right-click it and open a new tab, and you can actually watch the video in a much simpler fashion without any pop-ups or changes all the time. The same applies to images. I've got this gallery here with lots of images, and this is not too bad because they're actually one under the other. But normally you got a huge document and the images are all over the place, and you actually cannot find them, or they're covered by other things. And all you want to do is just download the images or navigate through the images that are in here right now. Again, the tool to use is the network tool. You go to inspect, or you open developer tools any other way. You go to the network tool and you reload the page. This time you don't filter by media, but you filter by images. So if I go for all, I see all of them. I can filter by images, and I can use the developer tools right now to navigate only the images in that whole document. And I can right click any of the image, copy it, save it, open the image in a new tab if I want to see the full picture, and so on and so forth. Basically all the things that people that spread their images all over the document don't want me to do, the network tool allows me to do that in a very simple and easy navigatable fashion. So that's something to play with if you want to download all the images. One of the most powerful tricks I want to show you is that you can simulate a mobile device. Now, most websites are more complex on desktop. They load more data, they expect more interaction. On a mobile device, you don't have much space on the screen, so they give you a simpler interface. And oftentimes, they also don't want to build own controls there. They just leave it to the ones that HTML5 or the platform gives you. So in this case, I got a gallery here that I click. I cannot right-click these images and save them as. I have to go to the main image and save it as well. Now on a mobile device, I just get all the images as a list, and I can do that in my developer tools as well. And you can do that by clicking this button here, which is a device emulation. This one now allows me to simulate different mobile devices, and it does that by just resizing the screen. It's not a proper emulation, it's not as slow as a mobile device. But the practical upshot is that it tells the website that you're looking at right now that this is a mobile device. So in this case now the gallery is a lot of images, one under the other, rather than just this complex one. And if I click it here, I can now save the images as. So I don't actually need to go to the big image and download it there. I can save each image the way I want to right now. This is often the case that websites give you a much simpler interface for mobile devices. So using that device mode, you can cheat your way into that. Often you can also only upload things on an app or on a mobile device. So you can use that one to upload from your desktop, to batch upload with a much faster connection and with a much easier way than to select it on your mobile phone and upload them one by one. I see a lot of users in areas where they have restricted content on the web or restricted data on the mobile. So they're actually using their desktop machines to upload content by using this device mode. Another thing that you often see is that the video players on websites are also in that mobile phone automatically the player and not the annoying player that I showed you earlier. So this demo where we used the networking tool earlier to get to that video, you don't even need to. You just go to the mobile view or the device emulation here and you see the page as it should be with all the controls that you want to have. So simulating mobile devices is a very simple way to get an easier version of a website and interact easier with it rather than having lots of clicks and pop-ups. The last thing I want to show you is how to see the website in different modes that you're on right now. Now this is in dark mode because my operating system is in dark mode, but what if the dark mode is ugly and I want to see the light mode instead? I can do that with the rendering tool. So I press the plus button in developer tools, I go to rendering, and I scroll down here to the different emulation parts. So I can say prefers color scheme light, and I can see the website as it looks like in light mode right now. I can also do that with dark mode if I'm on a light operating system without having to change my operating system. I can also see if there's a print version of the page, and often the print version is much easier to read and doesn't have any ads. So in this case, the links here also show where the links point to. That might be interesting for you to see. And the other thing that you can do here is stop animations. So this animation is super annoying, and you can turn off animations on an operating system level, but you probably don't want that all the time. But you can simulate the preferred reduced motion here, and that means that animation is not animating any longer, and you can turn it on again. So these are all the things that I have right now. I'm thinking about adding more of those. So if you give me any feedback, if you want to give some more tricks out there, or if you found something that I should document in this series as well, please tell me about it, ping me on Twitter, or give me an issue on GitHub, and you can actually be part of this trickery here as well.